think we just start with the biggest, juiciest steak. I think we go straight into Bybit, get some uranium in the ass through an umbrella tip.
30% of all crypto hacks combined, that's the size of this crypto hack.
And most people don't know the story. So like if you're listening to Soul Brothers, you're getting some real alpha here.
I'm just giving you the cherry on top on the shit cake. So
and I wish you brighter and sunnier days at Bybit, but still fuck sucks, get all your money on chain.
Welcome, NTM, to your weekly Solana podcast, the Soul Brothers, with my good friend Eno and myself, Simon, where it's our job to throw you into the Solana rabbit hole and show you around in this exciting and also sometimes frustrating ecosystem. I had to do that.
Our mission is to help you stay on top of the latest and greatest in the Solana ecosystem so that you never run out of fun things to talk about. Simon, how are you this week? I know you just got off a flight. You must be fucking tired.
I'm all right, actually. I got some sleep, but the news we're going to cover today are definitely more latest and less greatest because shit's going down. So I think people that are in the trenches right now and even outside of the trenches, just investing in crypto, they are getting cold feet. I think people are getting worried on Twitter. People are getting worried on my timeline. Friends start texting, it's that time of the year again. So I think it is going to be a special episode today, and we will cover all that. We will talk a little bit about the recent price action. We will also try to cover what happened on Solana in terms of the builder scene. But I have to admit, it is overshadowed a little bit by all the drama that's going on. How do you manage to stay positive in these times? Because you're a very positive, energetic person. That's what people appreciate about you. And crypto is just wild, and it's not easy. It can be painful. And right now, we've seen better times. We had just before you answer, we had DeepSeek, which caused a huge drop in the last 4 to 8 weeks because it threatened the US AI conglomerates. We had Trump putting tariff wars out to Canada, to Mexico, to China after launching his own meme coin that pulled a lot of liquidity out of the crypto markets. Wasn't dumped, but still pulled liquidity and then just went dead. And right after that, Melania launched her crypto token, which basically did the same thing. And then on top of everything, other presidents started to just, follow suit. And we saw the LIBRA scam. We saw some South African coins popping up and drugging people. We got bad CPI data from the Fed, just another kick against the shin. And then we got a Bybit hack, which just, the biggest hack in crypto history. That's the most recent news. So I'm just giving you
of the shit cake. Yeah.
I'm just giving you the cherry on top on the shit cake. So how do you stay sane in this environment?
Yeah, no. So I tweeted recently that last week I had a lot of mom energy, which kind of means, I'm not angry at you, son. I'm just a little disappointed. And this week I'm trying to carry in a little bit of little brother energy, the little brother that always wants to play and hang out and do stuff together. That's, I think, the energy that I'm going to carry going forward because, what I've been telling a lot of folks, even at Sanctum, is that if you're hyper-focused on short-term price action, I need you to pivot to long-term building because we can't control what goes on in the crypto macro, right? Like, is there a trade war? Are there presidents memeing and destroying the vibes? Is there a hack? These are things all out of our control. What we can do as builders and as members of the community is to stay hyper bullish on the products that are focused on the fundamentals, which means great product as well as strong community. And you position yourself correctly for when the market vibes are better. So that's the way I'm looking at it right now and how I stay sane. I don't look at what's going on in the short term. There's plenty of things to respond to, and this is our chance to do that. But really, truly, my time horizons are a lot longer, which means that it's a lot easier for me to swallow all the very spiky and difficult and disgusting pills that we have to swallow every day.
We can give this as a best practice out there to everyone who's listening as well. Try hard to put yourself in that mindset because it's much more healthier. Try to understand what you can control in this market, in this environment. What is the thing you can do to make our world here a bit better at all times. And then secondly, don't be afraid of just zooming out all the time and forget about the short-term noise for the long-term signal, because really one of the biggest problems I see right now when talking about kind of the atmosphere, the vibes, let's call it the vibes, it's that we are so locked into Twitter and we are so captured by the Twitter algorithm, by the crypto Twitter timeline algorithm, that we don't see left and right what's actually reality anymore. Because be honest, when you go through your Twitter timeline and you scroll through it, how many accounts do you really see on a frequent basis? Like what handles pop up 80% of the time? And I think you can probably count these names on maybe maximum 4 hands, right? It's like maybe it's 20 names. It won't be more than that, honestly. And everyone that listens can ask themselves the same question. The content you see on your Twitter timeline is so broken down into this very small niche of reality because you see only voices from those few people, and it's a huge space where we have so much going on. When we're covering Solana at the Sol Brothers, but crypto is also much more than Solana, and we also need the rest of the crypto environment. But I just wanted to give this as well as kind of advice to people to just get a reality check. Sometimes we need a slap in the face that just tells us, look, this is not real. Twitter is just infected with attention-grabbing economy, which is always toxic to an extent. And it's a game. We're playing the game. Don't forget it's a game, right? If you want to play it, don't forget it's a game. And the reality looks a bit different. And builders are not always on Twitter sharing their opinions, right? They're just building.
There's this clip of Meow that I absolutely love, and it's probably like 3 seconds. But he's like, every day I wake up and crypto punches me in the face. which is so true. We're getting punched in the face every day. Twitter's a echo chamber for sure.
Yeah, that's a good word. Yeah, it is. But I think we should take the chance before we dive into the full agenda today, because we have a lot of stuff to cover. We already mentioned the Bybit hack. We're going to talk a little bit about what happened there and dissect the whole dilemma. Just happened a few days ago, actually. We're going to talk more about Solana specific launches and products and announcements inside of the Solana ecosystem from Solana builders today. There's a few keywords here that we're going to double click on: Kaito, Sanctum, Backpack, GoFundMe. There's a few names that we want to touch on today, and there's a lot of drama that we need to talk about. So the agenda is packed, but before, may I take a minute to show what's going on at the Solana chart?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Amazing. Then let's pull over to the daily chart, and we've seen better times. I have to say that just looking at the chart without any further analysis here, last time we saw these prices, today we hit the November 2024 low. So basically, if you, bought Solana in November 2024 and you hold it until today, you're back to normal. You're back to your initial moment, initial investment you made is 0 P&L. So yeah, that is not so good. So definitely, since the peak that we reached on the end of January, what was it? Was it the 19th, 18th of Jan? Yeah, 19th of Jan, we reached the peak at the Solana chart. We scratched on the $300 here, at least on my Coinbase price chart. And then from there on, we saw quite a journey downwards. A lot of selling pressure, a lot of volume to the downside. And those were all the punches in our faces that we just mentioned at the intro as well. Their tariffs, one punch, then bad CPI data, another punch in your face. Then Libra debacle, another punch in our face. Then Bybit got hacked, another punch. So we basically just get beaten down here, and it doesn't stop. That's literally how it feels right now. If you look at the Solana chart, we're getting beaten down, and it doesn't stop. I think to be real, right? We don't need to make this prettier than it is. Most of my bullish scenarios are broken by now, so they are not really they don't really exist anymore. I am tracking down, like I removed all the bullish scenarios to the upside, because once we broke the first key resistance at 187, that was up here. Yeah, we were there before. We broke this resistance, and you see basically what happened after. That was the level that we defined. You remember, we talked about this like 2-3 weeks back. We said, okay, if we break the 187, I don't know if we're going to recover quickly from this. And since then, it's just down, right? And that was one of the key levels that I was watching. Then the bullish scenario was already kind of not valid anymore. And now we're in this last leg up, fifth 5-wave down to the downside. But I think it could be a larger pullback now that we broke also the $160 level today. Right now, Solana is trading at $156 on the Coinbase chart. It is the 24th of February today. Now that we broke the 160 level, I think we are possibly on the way to $120 again. So that is just the bearish outlook here. Obviously, there can be some recovery in between. We might see some pullbacks to the upside, but the path right now, the trend is downwards. So we are really in a bear inside of the bull, as we said last week already. It is what it is. How does that make you feel?
Well, actually, a bit sad, but it's weird being a co-host with you and like listening to your TA. Like it kind of braces me for what might come. Like because I like, and this is not a plug for the show, but it's like because I listen to you week on week tell me all the different scenarios, I feel weirdly at peace. It's like if you know you're gonna get punched in the face, or there's a 20% probability you're gonna get punched in the face. When it happens, it sucks, but you kind of like, okay, like I kind of expect that might have happened, right? Which, you know, some people might prefer not to know, but I'm one of those people that very much prefers to know that is a possibility. And so strangely, I feel at peace with where we're at. And as we've said multiple times in the pod, you know, we are long-term believers in Solana. Like this is not a short-term play. All the projects on Solana as well are not short-term plays, especially the legitimate ones when we're here for the long haul. So I'm feeling pretty good, Simon. I don't worry too much.
We need that energy, and for the traders out there, it's just good to know where we're heading. Don't open huge leverage positions right now for the upside gamble, because right now there's really no signal that we reached a low right now, a local low, or even a final low. So I think we should sit it out a bit longer and watch the chart.
Yeah.
You know, tune in every week here on the Mondays, see where we're going, and then we're going to let Solana do Solana, and let's focus now on what's happening in the trenches and what's happening also in the news section of crypto right now. Where do you want to double click first on, Eno?
I think we just start with the biggest, juiciest stake. I think we go straight into Bybit. You know, for those of you who don't know, the largest hack in crypto history transpired over the last couple of days. I believe it was over 1.5 billion worth of Ethereum distributed across like 10 plus wallets got drained. Did I get those details just about right, Simon?
Yeah, that's correct. 1.5 million dollars worth of Ethereum, which is a good chunk, 0.2 something, I think, if I'm not mistaken, % of the total supply of Ethereum got hacked out of the Bybit exchange. That was the big news.
And what's even crazier is that it was done through a cold wallet, which I mean, and not just look. This is obviously Bybit's OPSEC. Say what you will, is some of the best in the world. And if the North Koreans want to hack you, you know, I heard this really good, you know, tip from one of my OPSEC friends, and he just told me, look, if a scammer really wants to target you, as in you, Simon, or Bybit, or Eno specifically, they're going to get your ass, right? Like if someone really wants to target you, you know, you're kind of fucked either way. So I don't think negatively. I know this would be a great time to, you know, dance on Bybit's grave and say, ha, your OPSEC sucks, don't use Bybit. But truly, I mean, my personal opinion here is that they got fucking targeted. And you know, what are you going to do in that scenario where the North Koreans are putting the full weight of government resources on your platform? They'll get you one way or another. Now, that's not to say that improvements can't be made. It's always cat and mouse, but like I'm much more forgiving in this instance than I would be in other instances.
And I think the reaction from the crypto community on Twitter is quite positive. So for people that are not so deeply involved on the crypto Twitter timeline, we see pretty good reactions from the overall crypto community towards the way Bybit is communicating with the community. The way they handle this case and the way Ben, the CEO of Bybit, is talking to the people is taken very positively. And I think that is also a big learning for us as builders and brands in crypto. It really makes a difference how you handle these things. If you are silent, if you don't talk about it, if you just close the door and don't admit you made a mistake here, or you fucked up, then that doesn't work. But if you show your human side, if you show that you make mistakes as well, and if you show that this also stresses you, this is taken much more seriously. And Ben did exactly that. So we can maybe take a look at his latest post.
First of all, very quickly gave people a summary of the situation, right? So Bybit detected unauthorized activity, including one of our ETH cold wallets. This incident occurred while our ETH multisig cold wallet executed a transfer to our warm wallet. Unfortunately, this transaction was manipulated through a sophisticated attack that masked the signing interface, displaying the correct contract address while altering the underlying smart contract logic. As a result, the attacker was able to gain control of the affected ETH cold wallet and transfer its holdings to an unidentified address. And of course, they have the security team as well as forensic experts going through exactly what happened, and ostensibly, and they are currently providing updates, live instead of waiting like a week or 2 weeks. Which, they say the same thing about. This is a weird subject to kind of connect it to, but this reminds me a lot of like hostage and or kidnapping scenarios. Like what the police often say is like the first 24 hours are the most important, right? Like if you can't get a lead on this missing person within the next 24 hours, the likelihood that you'll get recovery of the victim is very low, right? And I think the same can be said about public relations, right? And I wouldn't even say 24 hours. I'd almost say like the first 3 or 6 hours. So like the first 3 or 6 hours to an incident, I know things are on fire internally, but you have to get tweets, comms, video, whatever, reach out to your contacts, whatever you can do to assure your community within hours of an incident, you need to do that immediately. That's a non-negotiable.
And I think Bybit reacted pretty swiftly on this. As soon as people started to talk about the potential hack, they put out an official statement. And I think Ben followed swiftly after this with his personal thoughts on the whole story.
He repeats much of the same information. It was a quote unquote Musk UI. However, the signing message was to change the smart contract of our ETH cold wallet. This resulted in the hacker taking control of the specific ETH cold wallet we signed and transferred all ETH in the cold wallet to this unidentified address. Please rest assured that all other cold wallets are secure. All withdrawals are normal. Not only that, but I heard that he got 80% of the hacked funds. He got 80% of that in a bridge loan, right? So that he could make a purchase. Yeah, they bought around, $742 million worth of ETH. I think they have even more cash in reserve just to handle. So like, I mean, I have a lot of theories for why this was commed so well and why the reaction has been so good. But number one, like Ben provided a very clear overview of what happened. Number two, he actually did something about it. Now, is that enough to make up for the fuck up? No, it's not enough to make up for the fuck up. But the fact that he's moving on it is a sign of competence as well as progress for people. And this is all happening within hours of the attack, right? And the third thing I would mention, and even though I don't know Ben directly, the amount of people or founders in his tweets, like what the hell? It's like CZ is like not an easy situation to deal with. Justin Sun is like, we've been monitoring this very closely, providing all support within our capability. You have top founders from other protocols and or projects who are willing to stick their neck out and say, hey, Ben, like we trust you. We've worked with you before. Even though they're not saying this, it's very clear from the tone of the conversation that founders are in very firm support of Ben Zhao, which just goes to show how important your reputation is, because when the pitchforks come out, you need people in a position of power who will change the mind of their followers before they get a little crazy. So I think it's three things: quick response, he did something about it, and he has founders who are backing him. Like that's great comms, A+.
For the extent and the importance of this event, it went down pretty well because it was the biggest hack we've seen so far. The numbers I've heard were that 30% of all crypto hacks combined, that's the size of this crypto hack. So the past decade, 30% of the past decade's crypto hacks combined were now hacked in a single day, in a single moment from Bybit. The fun fact that's actually not so funny, that you already mentioned briefly earlier, is that the Lazarus group was identified as the entity behind this. Obviously, we as the Sol brothers don't have further investigative efforts that we could have made to confirm this news, but I think it was pretty official. So we're just gonna share the news here as well. that the Lazarus group, which is a government subsidized hacking organization, cybercrime organization from North Korea, that these people were behind this, and they've done it before. They've done it many times before. It's not the first hack that they've been involved with. And one pattern that we can see from all the hacks, that they never return their funds. That's one thing. So once it's gone, the money's gone. There's no negotiation. They just go with the money. And then the second thing that always happens as well is they are very careful and slow with converting these funds into other currencies. So they don't have any rush on converting the stolen ETH in US dollars or in Chinese yen or whatever they're going to do with it. They will take their time. In the latest hack that they did, I think it was 2021 or 2022, was the first time they started to convert money from a hack that happened 6 years before that. So they really have time with these things. They don't need to touch it, because you have to understand everything is public. So people are tracing the wallets, they're tracing the stolen funds, and it's not an easy endeavor for hackers to mask and mingle the funds in a way that it can't be traceable anymore. We are very sophisticated nowadays with on-chain analysis. So yes, the hackers are sophisticated, but also the intelligence apparatus from governments and also from private companies are very sophisticated when it comes down to on-chain analysis. So people are tracking these wallets, and if you are a Lazarus group and you want to cash out your ETH and US dollar on an exchange, you won't be able to do that, because all the wallets are immediately flagged as soon as the stolen funds touch a new wallet. You're on the sanctioned list, right? So they have to go through some detours here. Interesting story, not going to lie.
The North Koreans are not people to fuck with. I will be careful about what I say, because I'm a South Korean, and I would very much not like to, get some uranium in the ass through an umbrella tip. Have you heard of? Yeah, like they do that. They like get umbrellas loaded with uranium, and then they like poke you with the tip of the umbrella, and then you die of cancer in like 5 days. I'm exaggerating here, but I'm being for real.
Who does that?
I'm being for real. You do not screw with the North Koreans. So I'll be look, for my own safety, I'll be careful here. But yeah, I mean, they've been stealing money for a very long time. Yeah, Simon still can't get over the uranium umbrella.
No.
It's true. It's a thing. It's a thing.
Okay. Yeah, wow. Interesting. How's the political situation between North Korea and South Korea? Like, do you feel it when you're in the country? Like, does the government put out something like that?
No.
Do people talk about this relationship, or it's just like something you don't talk about?
The perception that people get in Western media versus like what South Korean people feel on the ground, the disconnect is hilarious. So we'll be living our daily lives, and North Korea has done something like fired another rocket, and America is freaking out, and like we're just here going like, this is Tuesday, okay? They do this all the time. You know why they do it, Simon? They want more free rice. I know that's really insulting, but it's true. It's what they want. They want more aid. They want more South Korean money. They want us to play nicely. And the way they do this is just like a fucking baby. Like what a baby would do. What would a baby do if they wanted something but can't ask for it directly? They cry. They throw a tantrum.
Yeah, poke you with an umbrella.
Yeah, a uranium umbrella. They murder you when you sleep. That's what babies do.
North Korean babies.
Yeah, that's what North Korean babies do. And that's what, I mean, I look, I have love for my brothers in the North. I really do. You can put me on quote there. It's the government that's the problem. It's not the people. The people are just trying to live a peaceful life. But yeah, the North Korean government, like those guys have no problem cheating, lying, stealing, murdering. I mean, just a bunch of jackasses anyways, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, they did it again.
You would be really good at hacking somebody if Kim Jong-un had a pistol to your head. Like if it was like, hey, hack Bybit or die. It's like, yeah, I would do a pretty good job there.
Yeah.
But what's really funny is that like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, there was another hack, but then they transferred the XRP to like a centralized exchange, but they forgot to put the target. You know how XRP works, right? Where you have to have like the specific like target address in addition to like the wallet you're sending it to.
Yeah.
The Lazarus group, the intern there, they forgot to add the target address, so they lost like $500,000 in funds. You know that dude is dead already. You know that guy is dead. That's not funny.
You know what I would love to see? I would love to see them on Twitter. I'd love to see them with an account, just Lazarus group, and then just like verified, like just government verified account. And I just would
Yeah.
love to see them tweet about these things, like just cover Twitter would allow this for sure. Elon would be
Yeah.
like, okay, whatever, like it's a free speech platform. Like, I'd like to see what they're up to and how I want to see the Twitter intern of Lazarus Group tweeting. One fun fact about the whole story that is obviously not confirmed, but pretty confirmed because you can trace it on chain. But the hackers actually, I don't know if you heard about it, but they sent a few like, I mean, $10,000 I think worth of Solana to from like they were from the hack funds, and they sent it into a pump.fun address to create a meme coin, and the meme coin actually got launched. And when I looked at it, it has like a few $1 million of trading volume, and so. I was like, okay, did the Lazarus Group just steal $1.5 billion from Bybit and then launch a meme coin on Solana with like part of the funds? I'm like, okay, what's happening?
By the way, the unsung hero of this entire saga is Zach XBT. Everyone should know who Zach XBT is. He does a lot of thankless work in this ecosystem. He has helped recover millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of funds, and he doesn't get enough respect or our thanks. So, you don't know who the fuck we are, Zach, but we know who you are. You do excellent work. He has this Telegram channel. You can't chat in it, but he does give up updates. So he's been giving live updates of the situation in his Telegram group. I don't know where you can find it. I think I found it through his Twitter profile. But if you go into his Twitter profile, I think, and you go into his Telegram group, he will like give you direct information about investigations that he's covering live. And what he said about this pump.fun coin is that it wasn't the Lazarus group directly. They actually have a network of money launderers that they work with. And so one of these money launderers, I believe, is the one that created this pump.fun coin, which is just hilarious. and actually, that was the missing link that got, I'm pretty sure that specific wallet or that specific money launderer is the reason why we know it's the Lazarus group. That was the thing that, like, this is a known money launderer. This is also someone who has a wallet that's linked to a pump.fun. And so we were able to piece things together. That guy was the weak link that broke the story, from what I understand.
Okay, I think we dissected the whole Bybit situation a lot. Is there anything else we want to touch on when it comes to the Bybit hack that we might haven't talked about yet,
Benzo, I'm feeling for you. This is a make or break for your career, how you handled the situation. So far, you passed with flying colors. So congratulations on passing the toughest test. And I wish you brighter and sunnier days at Bybit. But still, fuck sucks, get all your money on chain.
You had to say that.
I had to. I mean, hey, congratulations on a job well done handling your crisis, but also fuck your product.
just like small footnote on the side. Yeah. No, he's right. He's right, Ben. Listen to go on chain. Build your fucking whatever you wanted to do there. He actually talked about this as the Bybit DEX strategy. So maybe this will be a thing now again.
New tokens. We love talking about new tokens. Kato is out. You want to talk about Kato? Have you been using Kato? Have you been tracking your yaps?
I've set up my profile, and then I haven't really. I need to recheck again if it saw me yapping. So you can create your Kaito profile for their Kaito Yaps feature, and then you link your Twitter account, and Kaito will check how useful the content is that you produce on Twitter, how many smart followers you have that interact with your content, and it will give you yaps to your account. So the more significant your content is that you produce, the better you will rank in the yapper leaderboard on Kaito.
So how Kaito works, they have a leaderboard. You get points through yaps, and yaps are determined by their own proprietary algorithm. And as you correctly mentioned, it's some mix of the amount of verified followers that you have and if they're responding to you and what are people saying about what you're saying. And then they've all tokenized that into a pretty successful airdrop. That was not in my bingo card. I did not think that this airdrop would do well. It did very well.
People were quite bullish before already. Like the voices I've heard, because obviously Kaito is a pretty significant product right now. When I say significant, I mean people are using it, people talk about it. Kaito itself has mindshare. And then secondly, they raised 15 mil, 20 mil. So they raised like a significant amount of money. while also already making a significant amount of money with their data plans. If you want to use the advanced Twitter analysis features from Kaito, you can subscribe to that for only $1,000 per month per user. So it's quite a pricey software as a service that they offer, and they already made a bit money over there as well. So I think all this money pot that people looked at, that was a signal for a big airdrop. So that's why people were anticipating it. Why do you think it was, or why was it successful? What, like, people got a good chunk of Kaito? People were happy with their allocations?
So let me answer that question with a completely unrelated anecdote that will prove my point. I know you hate when I do this. I'm so sorry. So Meow, before he went public in November of 2023, had 0 tweets and 300,000 followers. Did you know this?
How many followers?
300,000 followers with 0 tweets. I think he had tweets in the past, but he completely deleted them. He had over 300,000 followers and 0 tweets, like before he went public for Jupiter in November of 2023-ish for Breakpoint. And how he got and most people don't know the story. So like if you're listening to Soul Brothers, you're getting some real alpha here. The reason why Meow had over 300,000 followers with 0 tweets and like very little engagement is because in the early days of Twitter, there was no recommendation system. Like you had to search for profiles one-on-one. So Meow created this website where you could put in a topic or you could put in someone's Twitter ID, and then you could see relevant accounts or relevant people like for a specific topic. Like that never existed before. But he did the MySpace Tom strategy, and like his name was on the top of every recommendation. So that's how he got so many followers. That's why he has Sam Altman following him. That's why he has Mark Andreessen following him. He has like all these top Silicon Valley people who were testing Twitter at the time and needed recommendations. Right. And so he fulfilled a need that didn't exist in the market and was rewarded with over 300,000 followers. This is fucking insane, right?
I like that.
I feel the same way about Kaito. The reason why Kaito was so popular is because there was a gap in the market on Twitter again. And the gap in the market is that there's no really good way to monetize your content. Like if you want to monetize your content, they have a path to do this, but even people who are taking it seriously are not really making money. The only people who are making money are the people that Elon, kind of drools over, like Tiffany Fong, which, it's if you don't know the Tiffany Fong story with SBF and Elon simping over her on the timeline, she's the only one who earned like $30,000, $40,000 checks every 2 weeks. And it's because Elon was engaging her so much and because he's simping. And it's really weird, but it's its own thing. But that's what I mean. There's another gap in the market. Kaito filled it. There's no great way to monetize your content. This is a way for you to do it very directly. So I think that's kind of the unrelated anecdote that I think is related.
So how was the airdrop distributed? It was distributed by the leaderboard and by the amount of yaps that you collected. So the people with the most yapper activity, they got the biggest airdrops, I guess. That's correct?
Yeah. Actually, Simon, if I could ask for a favor, could you do TA but for Kaito? Like, I'd love to see you use your TA brain for I know it's like super early in the claims process, and so like maybe so maybe there's not enough real data to kind of go through it. But I just think that if people can see your TA brain in action for a token that's like completely new but is doing kind of well, like you can maybe give some objective like live analysis. You're so skilled at this.
I think it's gonna be tough one because it just launched. Let's take a look at what Bird Eye is showing us. Let's make sure first that we have the right token here that we're looking at. So we can basically do we can take a look at the launch itself, like how did the launch go? Because that's basically, it's a crypto launch chart, right? So the token launch chart, like nothing really, we didn't find any significant levels yet that we could track really. But we can see that the token definitely had a pretty good run initially. So we saw 178% price increase from token launch basically to its all-time high. And then normally what happens after is profit taking, especially if you have an airdrop. And the profit taking is pretty, I would say, healthy. So what I'm seeing here is like a healthy retrace from the highs, and we can also sustain these new lows here. So I think they might try to form a bottom around the 1.445 level. I think Kaito, you have to keep in mind those tokens, those teams, if they're more sophisticated and they're listed on a few exchanges already, they are actively market making the token as well. They they might have some strategies deployed with token buybacks and so on to maintain price levels that they don't want to fall through. So I think if they, if the token holds above these levels, 1.4, there could be a good pump incoming. I don't know the unlock schedule, so I don't know exactly how many more tokens we will see in the next days and weeks flooding into circulation. That might pose selling pressure together with the challenging market right now. So I think Kaito, just because of the timing, like the chart looks really good. The chart looks great. Like it was a very successful launch, found its bottom and is now trading sideways. Kind of, it is, looks like it's ready to show us another leg up. But the timing is definitely challenged, right? Because right now market is going down. Tokens overall are not, they saw better times, especially these tokens in the middle, as I call them. Liquidity is going into Bitcoin. Like right now, this cycle is just so weird because we have so much Bitcoin dominance. We just peaked at 64% the other day. That was on the 2nd of February, 3rd of February this year. So just like 20 days ago, we peaked at 64% Bitcoin dominance, which is very, like, it's a lot of, money that's only in Bitcoin compared to all the other assets. It was kind of, like we haven't seen these since 3 years, 4 years, these levels of Bitcoin dominance. And that usually signals that investors are a bit confused about the middle, about everything that's between meme coins and Bitcoin, because in this cycle right now, it feels like liquidity is only flowing into Bitcoin and memes, and everything in the middle is like even ETH and Solana.
But isn't it also strangely beautiful? Like, it's strangely beautiful that Bitcoin is now where investors go when they feel unsafe. I like that.
Huh.
I do like it. I don't like that we're in an unsafe market, but I do like that the default isn't let's go back into cash. The default is let's take all our money out of alts and put them into Bitcoin, which, quite frankly, is more gunpowder for later. They're not taking it fully out.
Yeah. No, Bitcoin it's expensive. Yeah.
Yes, it is very expensive.
You're right with that. Like if Bitcoin would be at 30K right now as well, that might be troublesome, right? Because then it means there's no liquidity in crypto, nothing, right? But Bitcoin is seeing inflows. Like we had a good year, a good 12 months behind us right now in terms of Bitcoin. It's in compared to the other assets right now, it looks overvalued. But there's this funny thing that happens to investors all the time. We tend to pull our money out of good performing assets and pull it into bad performing assets because we think, oh, this is already running so good, it's running hot. I have to redistribute in the cheap tokens. And usually we do this far too early. And then the best performer that actually outperforms the whole market since 12 months or longer, you just take your money out of there and you kind of, you start betting on the slow horses. And that's something that investors tend to do sometimes. And I think in this cycle as well. But yeah, anyway, we still like tokens. Let's see what the market has prepared in the next weeks. What is happening in the Solanaverse? What other fun products can we talk about?
Yeah, no, this is definitely my favorite part of the show. Like, we love to start the show with technical analysis as well as like new token launches. Any like macro stuff that's going on in the ecosystem. Our first actually comes from our friends over at Chomp.Games. KZ, well, most people don't know, but if you've been around, you would know this. Like, she was one of the kind of top executive team over at Orca for years, for a very, very long time, leading their BD. She's extremely connected in the ecosystem, decided to go and strike it out on her own. And now she's working at Chomp, which has some of the best branding in the space as well. I know some people are like, okay, this isn't a marketing show. Why are they talking about branding? But the memeability of your project matters. What it allows you to do is it's a subjective poly market. So like with poly market, you have a bet like, is Trump going to mention crypto in his inauguration speech? Simon, how did that go?
That didn't go very well. We were there.
Yeah, we were there. We live streamed the whole thing, and like we saw in real time the poly market odds go from like 80% chance he mentions crypto in some capacity to fucking 0 by the end of his speech because he did not mention it. Right. So that's a objective poly market. Subjective poly market essentially takes the opinions of the people who matter the most. So, for example, if they were to ask a question about Solana architecture, they might get 10 wrong answers from just random people who hold Twitter accounts, but they might get one right answer from Toli. So obviously you would weigh Tolly's opinion over like everyone else's opinion, but still you want to crowdsource subjective opinions about a specific topic. So yeah, it's a way for you to get subjective answers to subjective questions from experts who matter the most, but still allowing the general crowd to give their opinion. So they're making an upgrade this week that will increase their confidence score in their answers from like 60% or 70%, which is where it's at today, to over 90% confidence that this is the correct subjective answer. Now, again, what is a correct subjective answer? I don't really know. Like you need to see it question by question is what I mean. I know what it is, but it's like, how does that really play out? But I love the idea of being able to ask subjective questions to your community like, hey, did you like this week's Solid Talk? This is a great question to ask Chomp. You would ask questions to the Chomp platform. I'm Simon. I'm a founder of Solana ID. And I'm going to ask my community like, hey, did you like this week's Let's Solid Talk, right? The Solid Talk, did you like it? That's a subjective question. There's no really good answer there. But you can get answers from everybody. But the answers that you probably want are for people who do their streams, their own streams, right? You would weigh the opinions of people who have experience running their own streams over normal people who don't run their own streams, probably, right? And so that's what I mean by how Chomp works. Like you can ask a subjective question, get a great answer, and the answer that you get will be more skewed towards people who actually know what the hell they're talking about.
This is super interesting because it's different. And I like projects that are different, that are in a very interesting niche, that are innovating, that they think around the corner. These kind of concepts are, they're new. I can't do this anywhere in the internet really at that extent. And they gamified this in a very fun way. So you can actually, spend, some time every day on Chomp, and chomp around. So basically giving opinions and clicking buttons and taking part in their surveys. It's pretty cool.
No, super excited for the Chomp team.
Just one comment I want to add here on the whole Chomp topic, because there's two projects that I put in the same bucket, and I think it would be fair to just also throw them in here for people to check them out and compare a little bit. Chomp, I would say, is the OG on the block. So when I think opinion markets, then I think Chomp. Like when I think poly market for opinions, or you call it, what did you call it? Subjective poly market?
Yeah, it's a subjective poly market, because poly market is super objective, right? There's a very clear outcome.
Yeah, so like these kind of platforms, they it reminds me a lot of opinions.fun, which is a kind of newer project on the block. Also, some good people involved here from Super Team Germany that I'm aware of, and they're building, I think, a similar system. So you can also check out how they are approaching this topic. And then there's a new kid on the block as well that has not been covered so many times yet, which is called Trepa AI. You can check it out under trepa_io. And they are also doing these opinion questions and surveys where you can leave your subjective view on things in polls basically on their platform. And they also have some token plans. They have some stuff going on, again, connected with the founding team here. So I'm pretty sure that what they're cooking is something significant, because simply of the fact of the people who are behind this, and I can kind of vouch for those teams. So yeah, check out Chomp, check out opinions.fun, take a look at Trepa if you're interested in these kind of newer forms of opinion markets. Next up,
Backpack.
What else have we on Solana? Backpack. Also some news that they're shipping. I've seen it on the timeline. What's happening?
Yeah, the public beta has been live for 3 weeks now. Like they're doing everything the regulated way, in the best possible way, right? So they bought FTX Europe so that they could have access to all of their perpetuals customers, without they bought the license essentially. So they're doing that the proper way. In Dubai, and I think might even have an office in Tokyo. And in those three, and they do everything by the book so that they can scale properly. So over 2.39, and I'm assuming swap volume, over 13,000 unique users, more perps listed, and lots of USDC collateral. So obviously there's a lot of progress being made by Backpack. So just very happy that Armani, Tristan, the entire Backpack team continuing to ship. Almost a little quiet on the timeline, don't you think? That they're not the loudest on the timeline anymore.
They're not the loudest, but they are so strong and they're classy. I don't know how they do it. Even though they're called Mad Lads, the community behind Backpack, they kind of do it with style. if you scroll through the comment section of these announcements, there's so much support from their community. It was really like the whole thing, the whole backpack journey, I think played out really, really well. They navigated these waters very gracefully. The FTX crash, literally killed Armani, like really took off his pants. I think he lost a lot of money during these times. There are ex-FTX guys like in the team. They used to be involved in FTX as well, in the company, just working there. And then they came up with the idea to launch the NFT collection. Mad Lads launched, was very successful. They're still so valuable. The floor price of a Mad Lad is hovering around $10,000 ish all the time, even in these markets. And there's like thousands of Mad Lads. So it is a very valuable NFT collection, very strong community. I've been in AMAs with them talking about my product, and they're super curious, interested, supportive. And everything makes just a lot of sense. And their strategy as well, going forward step by step, brick by brick, as they like to say, is very suitable for the product that they're building, which is a centralized exchange, basically. But with a twist, it feels different than other sexes.
It totally is. And oftentimes because I'm in the Jupiter universe, I think that I it's not that I throw shade, but I do forget about other projects, just because like I'm so in that bubble. But when I really think about it objectively, I think Backpack probably has almost as strong as the community of Jupiter, just in terms of like the loyalty, the people who hold Mad Lads. And let's be clear here, the Mad Lads NFTs have some of the best art on Solana, like especially for a popular collection. It's like,
yeah,
and they get crazy airdrops too. Like I remember last year when we were in Dubai, it was like they announced like wormhole airdrop for each Matrica verified Mad Lad. It was something like $15,000 or $18,000 per I forget. It was just a shit ton. I'm like, holy crap, per Mad Lad.
How do you even do that in this product?
Yeah, I don't know how they negotiate deals like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the Mad Lads holders are very, very loyal.
So definitely shout out to the product as well. They're making good progress. I think we should try to have just an Armani on the pod sometime in future, because I think they're great. They're great conversation partners. I've listened to a few podcasts with Armani before. And yeah, he's obviously very well spoken and smart. That's what the people like him for. And his ideas are just, they're interesting. It's very interesting to pick his brains. I think I'd love to do that one time.
Well, here's, since Armani is such a Japan fan and he's over in Japan, Amari-san, genki desu ka? Watashi wa Soul Brothers desu. Please come to the podcast.
Perfect. Next product launch, what else do we have?
So we finally have some competition, right? So for the longest fucking time, Pump.fun has been the dominant token meme coin launch platform. They've been taking all those profits, putting them into Kraken, not even bothering to start their own validator. They have, hundreds of millions of dollars worth of SOL. And now finally a competitor enters the ring. Gonna be very hard to beat the network effects as well as the monopoly that Pump.fun has in terms of mind share. But we have GoFundMe, right? And nice. I don't hate the Pump.fun co-founders. I don't know them. It's hard for me to hate somebody I don't know. But what I will say is that their on-chain actions are garbage. Just fucking straight trash. I mean, Simon, you have an opinions on Pump.fun, specifically what they do with the fees they earn in SOL, right?
They could be much more when they're just running a business and they're not Solana people, right? They don't have any, which is okay. Like we can't really judge them for that, honestly. But there are people that are building not only a product, but also building for the Solana ecosystem to, because we're in the same boat here, trying to, grow together. They don't have that mindset. So I'm looking forward to have teams working in this space as well that do have this Solana ecosystem growth mindset that I'm looking for.
Yeah. So I think it's really important for us to say this just for like legal as well as just financial purposes. We do not know the founders of GoFundMe. A lot of the times when we directly endorse a product or we say like, this is great, you should try it out, it's because we directly know who the founders are. And like we spent enough time with them to be like, okay, if they're scamming, they've been scamming for like 5 years and they decided to pull the trigger now, which is like very unlikely, right? But with these guys, we truly do not know the GoFundMe team. Hey guys, if you're watching this podcast, we'd love to talk to you, get to know you a little better. But so this is not like if you're looking to launch a meme coin, I'm not actually. First of all, I don't think you should be launching meme coins. But if you insist on launching one, I don't endorse Pump.Fun. I don't endorse GoFundMe. I know Simon doesn't endorse Pump.Fun, and I'm pretty sure he doesn't endorse GoFundMe unless you know the founders. I actually have no idea.
I don't know.
You are.
I don't know that. No.
Yeah, right. But that being said, the model. I mean, look at that Twitter bio. That's very sexy. What do you think? That's crazy.
Yeah, I think the tokenomics around their own, what is it called, GFM, seems to be pretty cool. So I think there's a lot of revenue share going on. There's a lot of fee sharing from the platform revenues basically they make through fees going on that's been shared with people that stake their GFM. So that is obviously very bullish for the token. So I think they just know how to make a token look interesting.
And I mean, their engagement is insane. I think everyone's really tired of Pump.Fun, and they want a product that's less ADHD, less extractive, and actually gives a shit about the ecosystem and not just the ecosystem. But there's a mechanism by which participants in the GoFundMe platform can buy GFM and then stake that GFM. So if this isn't all just a giant scam, and if there's no smart contract risk here, this looks very, I mean, there's always smart contract risk, but this does look very attractive just in terms of not only ecosystem alignment, but also in terms of the tokenomics. They have real revenue, right? I mean, like token launch platforms fucking print money, right? And they're willing to share that with stakers of GFM.
They're definitely making waves. And another interesting, I think the whole story behind GoFundMemes is really that it is hashtag save the trenches. That one, I've seen that around a few times now in their posts. So what do they say? I think they say something like extract less, give back more. So take less away from the ecosystem and try to build a system that redistributes fees and things back to the traders, back to the degens, instead of just dragging them all the time. So they also quote retweeted a post from 0x NGMI, and he said the calculated total extracted dollar amount from memes on Solana amounts to $3.6 to $6.6 billion.
Yeah.
So 1 billion from trading bots and apps extracted from Solana, $492 million from Pump.Fun extracted from Solana, MEB, a lot of like billions extracted from Solana, Trump insiders, 1 billion extracted. So like a lot of money just going away. It's basically crazy that 1 billion is just Trump insiders. And so GoFundMe is riding that wave of being the more rational, more user-centric, I would say, degen-centric platform that gives more shits about the people.
Oh, yeah. Look, if you ride with us during the lowest of lows, we will ride with you during the highest of highs, right? I love to support builders like GoFundMe. I love to support builders like Nam. I love to support builders like Armani, like people who stuck it out through the worst of times to still be here and also provide value to ecosystem. GFM, I hope you're legit because I really like what I'm seeing so far. Just on paper, I really love it. The fact that you are paying out rewards in SOL, not USDC. The fact that you're giving the majority of, it seems like the fees to your GFM stakers makes a lot of sense. I don't really know how you make money though. So like, I want to definitely check out some more stuff there, but just in general, pretty bullish, very, very bullish. Happy. Like we'd like to close out every Soul Brothers, we're going to be talking about some events that are going around the world. So if you're nearby, you should definitely check them out. Number one, talk of the town, lady of the ball, Mountain Dow, right? Everyone and their mother and their grandmother and their sister and their brother is at Mountain Dow. How are we the only two people not in Mountain Dow? Yeah, we're not in Mountain Dow. How is that possible?
Yeah, it's because we're like I haven't been to the US yet. For Solana. I haven't been to the US yet for Solana. So for Solana. So I need to, it feels so far away. I fly to Hong Kong. That feels okay, but I don't want to fly to New York. It's the same way for me, but it feels further away for some reasons. So yeah, Mountain Dow, I haven't been there, but I've seen the pictures. Lots of people are cooking. It's in Salt Lake City. Is that correct?
Yep, Utah, Mormon country.
Gotcha, Mormon country. Alrighty, that sounds fun.
It's true.
And
it's objectively true.
Okay. I don't know if that's important for the Solana community, but I think people are just locking into their office. I've read a post where Toli, the founder of Solana, walked through the aisle, basically just walked through the office and just asked people, "Hey, can I help you with something?" And it's just so cool. Like I feel like the atmosphere there must be pretty cool. I have a few friends that are there that are cooking. They all look very productive. So shout out to Mountain DAO. It happens once a year, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So the next one will be again in 1 year from now. But Mountain DAO is not the only thing happening. There's new stuff coming out as well. Have you heard about what Forma is cooking? What is Forma and what are they up to? Do you know?
Yeah. So Simon and I are very fortunate to be friends with Farhaj, but that's a really easy task because Farhaj is friends with everybody. If you're wondering who Farhaj is, it's this very hilarious and talented gentleman who's leading Forma. I know that he has a partner, and I please forgive me, I forget his partner's name. But basically, Forma is launching Solana economic zones all around the world. The first one they did was in partnership with the Buenos Aires government over in Argentina. So they had a Solana economic zone there for, I think, about a month, if I'm not mistaken. They're running the same playbook over in Dubai. And this is the announcement for SEZ over in Sri Lanka. They are the best in the Solana game when it comes to talking with governments. I don't meet a lot of teams that are actually good at this. Forma is good at it, where they're able to systematically make connections with local governments and allow for these kind of free development zones where developers like you and I can go over there and perhaps even experiment with payments without having to worry about getting arrested by the authorities. So that's the whole point of the Solana economic zones, is to promote Solana specifically in a local context, and then allowing us the legal framework and the systems to safely develop and try our products there without having to worry too much about legal risk.
And let's check this out. That's actually perfect timing right now. This is how it looks like when you get accepted to Forma. So it says, "Congrats, hey Simon Monitor, great news." Well, I don't know.
Bro,
I'm just fucking around.
I just made the decision to go, like literally like today. I had no idea you were going. This is great.
Me neither. But it looks like I do.
Are we recording another podcast over in Sri Lanka? Is that what's happening? Like seriously, like guys, this isn't an act. Like I actually did not know that Simon was going to Sri Lanka.
No, I just it was spontaneous. Literally like 3-4 days ago I applied for it because I am personally in the process right now of evaluating certain jurisdictions in the world for me personally as a tax resident, maybe to move parts of our company there. So I'm very interested in these new places. If you get accepted, you can apply to Forma. You just need to go to their Twitter page. If you just look for Forma, you should be able to find it. Forma City, right? That's it, yeah. And so here you can go to forma.city/Sri Lanka and you can submit an application there. And that will bring you to an application form. And then if you get in, they send out invitations today, and they will send out another wave of invitations to Forma. I think in the next week probably or something. They have 64 spots left starting today. So people can still get in. And then, you can get this beautiful invitation postcard, as it looks like, that they came up with, that you can create for yourself. So very cool, interesting project. That's Forma Sri Lanka is targeted for builders that are in the Solana ecosystem that want to connect with each other and want to do business with each other and maybe even explore Sri Lanka as a jurisdiction to make business in. So
I think we should end every podcast with just saying thank you to the people who make this possible, honestly. And like obviously Jupiter Exchange is a big part of that. Like, thank you so much for the sponsorship. We'll treat it responsibility. We're still going to say what the fuck we want to say. And we're going to be fair and balanced. But at the same time, like, thank you very much for that. And also to the real people who actually make this happen. Obviously, Caveman, who was our video editor, like if you watch any of her short form or long form, he's cutting all of that stuff, and he burns the midnight oil to get that ready for you as fast as possible. And obviously, Leclop, Leclop has been major upgrade for the Soul Brothers, right, Simon?
Major upgrade. Now our Twitter's on fire. We know what the fuck we're doing. Looks much more professional. So shout out.
This is the first time someone else has prepared show notes for us. We're like episode 17. I think we earned it, by the way. I think we earned having someone help us with show notes because we were doing it for the very and it takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of time.
I keep doing it to an extent, but it's a big lift off our shoulders to have someone just consolidating shit and adding, on the agenda and everything. So.
Oh yeah, and he knows what the fuck he's
But-
doing. So yes, very happy
Yeah.
with the team that we've built here over at Soul Brothers. And this shit is gonna be the Bankless of Solana. We're not gonna rug for 50K. Just kidding. But I know we issued it a correction. I'm not gonna confuse people again. Bankless did not rug anybody. For people who are curious.
They're cool. I still listen to them.
But that's what we need for this ecosystem, though, right? Like we have the technical podcasts like Lightspeed, and we have the Vibey podcast like Jupe and Juice that's much more focused on the Jupiter ecosystem, and like we love Jupe and Juice. But just in general, right? Like we need someone that covers Solana, like FUD, new launches. Like we need weekly updates. So much shit happens. 2 weeks would be too much, and 3 days you could do that, but we got jobs.
We got places to be. But let's also wrap it up now. I think it's a good time to conclude the podcast today. If you listen to this on the podcast, then thank you for tuning in on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. If you're tuning in on YouTube, even better because you can see our beautiful faces and also the screen share. Keep in mind, we're live streaming every single episode, Mondays, usually around the same time on our YouTube channel, our personal Twitter channels as well. So you can also do this in a live format and leave some comments and interact with us before and after the live stream recording or the podcast recording. Anyways, this was podcast episode number 17 already of the Soul Brothers pod. Woo! Thank you for tuning in. We are progressing fast. Road to 20. We're going to make the 24. And yeah, thanks for being a part of this, and just stay in the trenches, stay with us here, stay positive, as Eno said in the intro. Zoom out sometimes and take the view from the eagle down on this ecosystem, and don't get lost in Twitter and Twitter FUD. Prices are dumping. It happens. We've seen it before. We've been at $8. Keep that in mind. So we will see better times as well. And I think we have much, much more to cover next week when it's time for the next Soul Brothers episode. Until then, thank you so much for tuning in. Have a good day wherever you are, or a good night. And until the next time.
Adios.